Try not to fuss, man.
No, no.
What I'm saying is just, I'm practicing.
Yeah.
But we did win.
This is Jim Bob, a homeless veteran I met last month who, along with others like him, was relocated inside the Veterans Administration building as part of an ongoing effort to deal with LA's growing homelessness situation.
And by getting the concessions that we received, right? But immediately they started to try to take it, reel it back in, right?
Jim Bob was part of a homeless encampment made up exclusively of veterans who were asking to be let inside a campus originally designed to be home for veterans that had nowhere else to go. For decades, the campus was under neglectful ownership that refused to house the veterans living on the street just outside. Last week, the veterans were promised refuge inside under the condition that they sign off on certain rules inside the facility.
I mean, the sign stuff, we're supposed to have to sign.
What are you signing away?
Just like agreement to rules that we don't agree to, because but it's done under duress, because if you don't do it, then you don't get to go in, right? So, and they say that to the end when you're like, they know that you're gonna have to, because
If you refuse, what happens?
well, then you're not allowed to go,
Now let's stay here.
and then you're not, and then you're like, you're stuck, and they know that. That's the reason they did it that way.
The alternative was to live on the streets, where things had gotten so bad that people had started to die.
They were here before I got here.
While you were here, how many people died?
4.
You know any of the people that died?
All of them. Well, 3 of them.
Although living on campus is much safer than the outside, many of the vets still feel uncomfortable giving away certain freedoms. Jim Bob was trying to tell me something about human nature, and it's something that I can't stop thinking about. Jim Bob was telling me that deep down, people like drugs, people like alcohol, like sex. Most people don't expect to get life advice from a homeless person. After we talked to Jim Bob, we helped him and his friend reach downtown LA to pick up a bike that they had wanted to walk across town in order to get it back at camp. The other veteran that we were with was sharing experiences on drug addiction, alcoholism, and fending for himself on the streets. As he was talking, I realized that the problems that the homeless face are the same problems we have at home. Whether it be drug addiction or alcoholism, there's something about us that seems to be focused on self-destructing. The night before my trip to LA, I had a really bad acid trip and I did things I'm not proud of. I've done a lot of things I'll regret for a long time on drugs and alcohol, but at the end of the day, it was my own choices that allowed that to happen. It's important for us to take responsibility in our actions and their consequences, because sex, drugs, and alcohol can really mess up your life if you're not careful. And after both my trips, I realized life is something that we can't afford to take for granted. Hey guys, this is me after I already recorded and edited everything. I'm just about to upload it to YouTube. Really quick, I wanted to let you guys know that what Jim Bob and the other vets are going through is pretty serious and it's worth getting into. I only briefly mentioned it because that day I was really there to just check up and help Jim Bob out with a couple of things. But I was also there with a YouTuber named Glink, who was filming the second part to his documentary series about Los Angeles and the many problems going on. I'm gonna put a link in the description to the first part so you guys can check that out, because it's really interesting and it's worth watching. It talks more about the problems Jim Bob and the vets are going through in a serious light. This video was really more of a video diary entry type of thing, and I want to make a separate video addressing more of the serious topics that I'm really passionate about. I want to help Jim Bob out. I'm gonna let you guys know how we can help as a group, and really just talk about how I met him and the whole situation going on, at least to my understanding. Big thank you to everybody who's watching. I appreciate it a lot. It's nice to know that there's some people interested in what I'm doing. It's keeping me motivated to make more of these. So thanks again, and I'll catch you in the next video. Thank you. Peace out.